People start to hear it. We've been doing it after we fade out of cholesterol.
Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast, the only live streaming in-person arts and entertainment podcast covering northeastern Pennsylvania, offering a true alternative voice in local media. We're coming to you from the NEPA Scene studio underneath Center City Print in downtown Scranton. I'm Rich Howells, the founder and editor of NEPA Scene, and tonight we're here with Keep Flying, a punk band with horns, as they've described themselves. That was originally from New Jersey, but now you guys are kind of spread out all over. Maybe some members in Pennsylvania?
One still.
One still.
Good enough for us. Yeah. They're performing tonight at the second annual Happy Scalaways Music Fest at Clarkie's Billiards, just a few minutes from here. So they're kind enough to stop in before the show to talk about their new music, life on the road, much, much more. So please join our conversation down in the comment section below. We'll get to those later on in the show. Before we dive in, I just want to thank our sponsor, Center City Print, who has provided this amazing studio space for us. And I have an awesome little video to play. Center City Print can bring your ideas to life in 3 locations: Scranton, Kingston, and Hazleton. These one-stop shops are locally owned and operated, offering high-quality printed products, copy and custom print services, and design solutions to help you, your small business, your nonprofit, your band, your photography, your art project, or any venture thrive. Visit them now at centercityprint.com and use promo code NEPAScene online or in person for 10% off.
Ray.
Here.
Hi, Ray.
I'll show you. Here's the other ad read we will do is...
Oh, there really is another one. I was kidding.
Yep.
But I'll do it.
Right there.
Dude,
And it's
you did nothing wrong.
Starting where?
FM
Here?
Kirby Center. Yeah, this
There it
one
is.
right
Oh,
here.
perfect. Yes. All right, here we go. You ready?
Is it time now?
NEP right now? Cool.
Go for
NEPA is also the media sponsor of the return of the Cabinet Holiday Show at the FM Kirby Center. Damn, we used to get those at the Sherman. Now it's there. Sad. Anyway, no, it's not sad. You should go. Let's see. On New Year's Eve, Sunday, December 31st, the music begins at 8:30 with Mike Mills and the Northeast Extension. Oh, I remember them. Mike Miz, I'm sorry. So you can ring in the new year with some of Northeastern PA's best musicians. Tickets are only $35 in advance, and they're on sale now at kirbycenter.org. That's kirbycenter.org. We hope to see you there. I used to work at the Sherman, and we used to get Cabinet every year. It was one of the bigger
awesome.
shows we would get.
Yeah, they still play there.
Yeah.
On a
They
pretty regular
do?
basis.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah, they went away for a little bit. They came back pretty fast, and
Right.
they've been, they still do the Sherman, the Kirby. They're a great band.
It's like one of the biggest ones that we would do every year. It was always a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like, make sure you're working for Cabinet.
See, so that's all the endorsement you need.
There you go. I thought I'd open with my Northeastern PA cred, even though I'm not originally from here.
Well, so let's start with you introducing yourselves and what position you are in the band.
Let's go left to right. Left.
I'm Rick,
Stage right.
and I play trombone.
Yes, you do.
That's all.
I'm Henry. I sing and play guitar.
And I'm John. I play sax. I scream. I dance. Do things. Try to make people laugh.
I thought you'd expound too. It was like, you do trombone, you do the merch.
Merch, I do magic
You
sometimes.
do
Yeah, you
Oh,
got some
nice.
facial hair. I
Oh,
write some
beard. Nicest beard.
I write some songs. Most of my dancing's hip based.
Yeah.
I bring the diversity of the band.
Me and Rick go
that's an important
vertical.
role.
We're
Yeah,
vertical
yeah.
jumpers.
True.
I'm
Okay.
a mobile order fast food specialist.
That's very good.
That's true.
I'm the horizontal contingent, I would say.
Yeah.
As you can no doubt tell.
Yeah.
Big spread.
It's true.
It is what it is.
So what got you interested in music originally, way back in the day?
Jeez.
What made you want to pick up an instrument?
You want to start that?
I can. It's such an array of things.
Yeah.
It could be my dad's copy of Greatest Hits 1974 to 1978 by the Steve Miller Band. It could be 93.5. What was that? Oh, no, 95.5 PLJ. KRZ. It's also where I grew up too.
Okay.
Could have been that. and specifically the guitar would probably be like a Real Big Fish record, to be honest. To spin it back to the ska of today. So I think those are the original emanations of me being interested in playing music. I could go on. I'm not going to.
I would say, for me it was Weird Al, and then
Fuck
high
yeah,
school.
man.
Yeah, Weird Al was like
Yeah.
something that I think I first went when I was 8, and
I knew the Weird Al songs better than I knew the
100%.
original
I
song.
never half of them I didn't know the originals ever. Still.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a parody?
And then I would say high school, meeting other people who were already starting to play their own music, and then I could do this. Maybe I want to do this.
Yeah.
Those people became my friends, and that's what kind of made me be like, okay, well, better figure out what I'm going to play so I can catch up to speed here.
Right.
You know.
I did a lot of acting too.
Oh, yeah. I guess when I was younger, listening to like the Beach Boys and the other stuff in the car, I was given an instrument when I was like 10 and kind of ran it with it from there. And then, similar to everyone else, just high school, someone asking me to play in a band and kind of going from there and just taking as it came.
So this band originally formed in 2016.
16.
So how did you end up with the lineup that you have now? How did you end up forming the band in your case, or joining the band?
That's a great story.
Yeah, well, so from the beginning, Key Flying kind of came from the ashes of a previous project. I wanted to continue playing music. I kind of lucked into this. It wasn't something I thought I would really do. I liked performing. I did a lot of acting and singing in high school and out of high school, but being like band guy was kind of an accident.
Okay.
So we started a band, quote unquote, basically just making a MySpace page with a goofy name, and it kind of just became an actual band. It was kind of a mistake. So when it got so serious that I decided I want to do it right, that's when Key Flying was born. It was like, well, what if we take what we've learned from our little pockets of experience in the music industry and really put it to good use. That's where it came. We've definitely had some member changes here and there, but the current lineup really, and even from originally, is based just in people who have met each other through their own shared experiences within DIY touring and the music industry, mostly in the punk world.
Okay.
And just joining forces to be one group. So even to answer the question where we all from is hard to answer, because even in the original, beginning of the band, the origin of the band is we're not really from New Jersey. We get said that because I am, I think.
Right.
But this guy's from Long Island. This guy's from Long Island. This guy's from Buffalo. I'm from New Jersey. We got Philly guy. For a while we had Easton PA guy.
Yeah.
So it's always been an amalgamation of different people, and it continues to be. And everybody's very strong and skilled at what they do, and that's why we continue to push it as hard as we do.
You guys have said in some more recent interviews that this is kind of like the
You watch the interviews.
really good. Oh yeah, I do my research.
That's big.
I knew when I saw I said, oh, you know. That's why I was excited.
You guys you guys feel like this is kind of a definitive lineup in a lot of ways. Like this
Yes.
is the one that really is.
It would be a
I
real
would-
shame. It would be a real shame if the lineup was to change after this.
Yeah.
Like currently, it would be
Oh,
a
I'm
bummer. The only thing that
not
we
interested.
and this is exclusive to you right now. The only thing that we have discussed is expanding what we have, not reducing anyone, but expanding with potentially someone who would fit for what we're doing. That would
Okay.
require the band to grow and be playing in bigger rooms. But
Yeah.
we have ideas for if that was to become reality. But no, it would be a real bummer if anybody was to depart from the current lineup at the moment.
There's no intent to subtract. It's just that luckily, good and bad, the business is growing. So therefore having more hands on deck is always beneficial.
Yeah.
So If anything, we would add and not subtract.
This band has still been able to somehow really not cancel any performances.
Yep.
We've been able to figure it out.
Well, that of course, brings us to a lot of the, current touring. How did you guys end up really surviving COVID? Because you guys had a, album basically come out during that point. And then how did you end up kind of getting through that and getting
Just as we
past
planned.
that?
Just as we planned. Also.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it fits the name of the
couldn't have worked out
album,
better.
right?
I was so hoping that everyone would be trapped in their houses and we wouldn't be able to play shows when my record came out. Got my wish.
Survival. We started having the dialogue once we, like everyone else, realized that we weren't going to go back. Because we really wanted the record to come out not during
summer,
the
probably.
pandemic. But we did make a conscious decision of, well, when do we think this is gonna, when is this gonna change? And so we did
No way to know.
have a conversation, and we did eventually agree, you know what, should we just try putting the record out? We had other friends put records out during the pandemic that did very bad. People didn't even hear them, didn't even know that had happened.
Right. I mean, everybody had so much going on.
Yeah. Which we felt a little of, but we found ways to get people involved even though the pandemic was still happening. I mean, I had friends ask, I don't want to use the word leech because they didn't leech, they asked if they could take the idea that we did. We put the record out in December, and in the month of January 21, we did pop-up shops, but we didn't do them inside places. We did them outside in like 12 or 13 different locations with an exclusive colorway of the record. Masks, feet apart from each other. A couple of us did the Northeast. Ricky was doing. We all were in different regions of the U.S. since we were all home.
Yeah.
And it really worked. People were very excited to, like, I'm going to go outside and meet these guys outside of the venue. I thought that was really, I thought that was cool. No one gave us any grief about that. We did it outside. We did it with masks,
Right.
And that was one way to, like, start pushing the record.
It was an original way to get people excited, A, to do anything, and B, to engage with our fan base in a way that felt safe and also felt, original.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we're so many other bands are, they're so big, they're insulated. Well, luckily we're pretty connected with our fan base. So while I'll say that I don't think that record could have reached its greatest potential that it could have.
For sure.
I do think that we were able to get it to the base that we had pretty effectively, which we're really grateful for, because it kind of kept us at least where we were instead of having the business dip because of the pandemic, which so many other bands and businesses did clearly.
Right.
So we're grateful that we had at least that amount of support from the people that care.
It was helpful that we decided to head start, kind of jump into touring a little bit before everybody was ready. So we went out, we did the first show July 31st.
Yep.
The release shows were July 31st, August 1st, which some people still weren't ready. But we were. And we did 2 nights on Long Island. They were both sold out. And then every single show that we did, August 21, was a home run. It's a grand slam. Every single day was a grand slam. It was everybody's first show back everywhere we went.
Wow.
And it was a really fortunate way for us to finally play the record after not putting it out in December and not doing anything besides what everyone was doing live on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that, I think, helped big time, because then all the tours started up in September, October.
Right.
And then, like, regulations started coming back again. There was only a small window of time where it was like, I think we're okay. Actually, we're not okay. And it's not like we were taking advantage of the time. We were just doing what we were, could do.
Yeah.
It felt right at the time.
It felt right.
And luckily it was before the whole thing everybody got saturated.
Yeah.
Right.
And kind of
Yeah, it was
returned
just-
to
Everybody was trying to do
Yeah.
something.
Something that was pretty cool too is a lot of people that would come out to those fair shows back. We were also the last show they saw before
I was
COVID.
just thinking that.
Oh,
We
okay.
literally like everything shut down in March,
Oh.
the Friday after we finished the tour.
Oh, I went home.
It was
that was
crazy.
it.
Wow.
I was making jokes about it on like at the last show because who knew it was going to be what it was. I was like, haha, we got COVID. Yeah. We don't. We
Straight
didn't.
up.
We didn't. I'm just joking. But like, but
It
we,
was.
we had
Nobody
no
knew it was on
idea.
tour.
Nobody knew. It
No.
was like March 8th, I think, was
March
our last
8th.
show.
Yeah.
And
Albany.
what? How could you predict it?
No, I mean everybody thought it was good. I mean everybody said, "Oh, well, 2 weeks to flatten the curve" and all that kind of
Yeah.
shit. And it's just nobody expected that it was going
We
to go
did
on
it,
as long
guys.
as it did.
Good work.
Yeah, you guys got you had that exact timing. That worked out well. So now that everything's back in full swing and all that, do you feel that touring's different now in any way? Has that
100%.
changed things?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it is.
In what ways do you think? Like money wise, like
From the top to the bottom is completely changed. For instance, I'll chime in, then you can go on. For instance, you look at the top, the largest artists in the world, Harry Styles. Harry Styles announced his world tour, 6 cities, many shows in each of the city. More the festival thought of me, a patron, I'm going to get to the artist. You come down from there to like other big arena bands and even like large clubs, Terminal 5 size or whatever. And you're looking at full U.S. tours that are only 3 weeks long.
wow.
Trimming all of the smaller cities out. Maybe they do a follow-up 6 months later where they play all the smaller cities.
Right.
That trickled
They're
all the
not
way to
doing-
the bottom. Everybody started doing less because people also started going to less. And so actually for us, I think that we've found that by continuing to push through and play in the smaller places, the place that's 40 minutes outside of the main city, we're still connecting with people like it used to be. And we're getting a lot of applause and thanks for coming because a lot of the artists don't come there anymore. Their agents don't send them there anymore.
And I'm sure a lot of venues probably didn't survive.
Correct.
I know it did around here for sure.
Especially the small ones.
Yeah.
Independent and small.
Right. Which is
Sad.
yeah. I mean, and that's
Our
pretty-
band can't play Live Nation rooms. What? Like, what do you mean?
right.
We can and we do, but like when we're doing our own shows, it's Clarky's Billiards in Scranton, Pennsylvania. But
Right.
the show will probably be great.
Now,
It'll be a great show.
as a result of everything you just said, a band in our position that's still climbing and still grinding to get to a more comfortable position,
Yeah.
unfortunately isn't afforded as many opportunities as we were maybe before 2020. So because the upper echelons of the music industry are clamping down and not playing as many shows and not putting their artists out as much, that means that there are less opportunities for us to maybe get an opening spot on these tours or at the very least, compete against everybody else who's trying to climb. So
Right.
for us, it's been tricky trying to find that sweet spot and try to keep clawing our way up.
Even the number of bands on the bill.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
5-band bill was normal.
Well,
People don't want that. People want to be out for a little while. We see a lot of tours go up with no support, and then they have one band. So, again, on the same note that Henry just said, not only are there less tours or shorter tours, there's less artists going out on the bills because there's less dates, more people are going. So the bands don't necessarily need as many smaller artists on the bill in order to help move the tickets. They're moving the tickets on their own because they're only playing each city once a year, maybe twice, maybe.
Yeah.
So people come. So I don't,
of the many lessons to be learned that we all learned from that time is that I think all of us have reevaluated the value of time. Right, our day and our month and our year, the way that we all parse up our lives. I think everybody has changed their priorities, hopefully for the better, and that goes no differently. That completely applies to everybody working in this world too.
Right.
So, due to that, the consumer doesn't want to spend as much time at the shows. They still want to go. The artists don't want to have a show go on as long as you said, or they don't want to be on the road as much because they have other things to prioritize. Yep. And then I can't blame them for that. I'm not complaining. I also feel that way, to an extent. But that just means we have to adjust in our businesses as everybody else does.
Work a little harder.
That's it.
I mean, that was a big thing when everything first came back. There was that big spike of everyone wanting to go outside because they could go outside to live entertainment, stuff like that. And now it's kind of evened out to where people are more picking and choosing about what they want to do with their time, either going to shows or staying in for the night because they just want to.
Yeah.
Can't blame them either way.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Yeah. That said, go to some shows that we play at least. You're right. Bound. And okay. To spin it to a more positive thing, it's definitely strengthened our resolve to be as entertaining as we can because, we don't want to waste our time or our fans' time or any potential new fans' time. Yep. So it's like if you're going to, I appreciate people who do leave. If it weren't for the band, if it weren't for what I do and my friends and all of this, you'd never hear from me again. I would be happy to be a recluse, but if you're going to come, I thank you for it, and we are going to perform as well as we can, put on a show and make it worth your while.
Yep.
That's what you say.
So you're friends with you have some connections in Northeast PA. You're friends with some local guys like Joe Panic. We've had them on the podcast before. You've played Scranton, Northeastern Pennsylvania many times. Is there anything maybe unique or that stands out about this area or its people necessarily, maybe compared to other areas of the rest of the country, or is it all the crowds are kind of about the same?
No, I'd say this is not like everywhere.
No.
For the uninitiated, I feel like I started here. I'm from Blairstown, New Jersey, which is just over the bridge from Stroudsburg.
Yeah.
So my first shows ever playing and a lot of attending were the Crocodile Rock and the Sherman Theater and what's that other place over here? I mean Metro, and that era, that whole thing.
Oh, I know.
And I don't think it's like any other place, and I feel like. It's evolved over time, just like any other market does. I think that Northeastern PA, with all respect, unfortunately suffers from not being Philadelphia. So it's like, it's just not as bustling as that place is. It's not that major of a market. So it's, again, not all the tours go, but when they do, people are excited.
It's more loyal.
Yeah.
So the fans are more loyal than Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Same people. We know the people that will be here tonight, and I assure you that they'll be here.
Yeah.
Same people that will be when we play in Allentown.
Yes.
Or when we go play Reverb in Reading, or when we go play Easton, or when we go eventually get back to Stroudsburg, the same people come. And there's definitely loyalty, which is a very Northeast thing, but not necessarily in the major cities. In the smaller places of the Northeast, it does feel more loyal.
There's a lot of people. I think it's a completely viable market as opposed to other, let's say, smaller markets in the middle of the country.
Right.
It's somewhere in between being like a major, like a Philly or a New York, but not, and still having that small town appreciative feel that we like. And I really don't think that people have a big issue going from like, if you're from here and there's a band you want to go see in Allentown, I don't think it's a big deal. If there's people from Stroudsburg that want to come see us tonight, I don't think it's a big deal to have to drive out and take 380 and come up. It's no problem.
Right.
So it's like, it's good. The loyalty is there, and it has a special place in my heart at least because it's where I would play all of my shows.
Well, we do it so often. We really do play Northeast Pennsylvania a lot.
Yeah. You guys
more than we play New Jersey or metro area New York. We only do Long Island once a year, maybe twice. We play the city, Manhattan, maybe once a year, unless we're supporting. It's really only once a year.
New Jersey can't keep a venue open, so
it changes where the scene is.
You
It just
never know.
moves around because it's just it's always growing and then falling apart and moving somewhere else. But like Northeast PA, we always have something. Somebody's always asking, "Hey, we're booking a thing in this place." I'm like, "Yeah, we could do that." So it happens pretty often.
It finds a way each time. I mean, I've seen The Sherman's still there. Unbelievable. But not really. I love them. But my employers, hello. Used to be. But, like, I've watched, we watched the Croc Rock go.
Yeah.
I've watched Eleanor Rigby's go. I've watched the Vintage Theater go. I've watched Metro go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's so many ebbs and flows, but they find a new spot every time.
Yep.
Somehow. Enough people give a shit that it sticks around. So that makes me happy. That I can still, after 15 years of playing, come back, to familiar areas and be like, yeah, I remember when, it's cool.
Yeah.
So, a lot of course, local musicians, watch the show. So I'm sure some of them have questions. If you guys want to leave those down below, make sure you do. I'm sure you guys get hit up all the time for advice on how to tour and all that kind of stuff. What do you usually, tell them if somebody, local bands trying to do what you guys are doing?
You know what's so funny? I feel like we had a bit we wanted to do the next time we were asked, and now I can't remember what it was. Really? Because I thought of something. It was really profound and maybe hilarious. But so is the question what's the advice for people on a tour? I've never gotten that before.
No, I'm sure you haven't.
No, never. Not once.
But
That's why it's a stumper.
And that's I usually don't ask those types of questions, but knowing that there's going to be some local musicians watching, I'm sure that's something they want to know.
Do it. Just fucking do it. No, because like we've collectively, the three of us have all done it our own way, done it together for years, and it's just trial and error. Ask questions though, like we all of us, even the ones that aren't here, are always down to give advice or like give our perspective on questions or thoughts. So it's really just being comfortable enough to ask someone what you need advice on and going from there. Like. We've all been in the shoes of not knowing what to do and just needing a nudge in the right direction.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Please.
If you want to do it, do it. At least in the way that we came up, there's no school, there's no class to take, there's no other way to gain any knowledge about how this works without lived experience. It's the only way. So while the music industry is such a vague term, it could mean anything. Right. And I'm sure there's lots of professional outlets to get information that will benefit you. But in the way that we work in our little corner of the music world, there's nothing to it but to do it and to soak in as much as you can. To be somebody nowadays getting into it, I can't even imagine what it's like.
Right.
I don't know. I couldn't begin to conceive what the challenges might be for somebody brand new in 2023.
Yeah.
To do it, but I will say it's just about keeping an open mind and being kind to everybody that you can. Keeping egos in check, but still maintaining the confidence that you know what you're doing and that you want to do it.
Yeah.
I think there's a big glaring difference between artistic ego and actual human confidence. So just to echo what you said, just go for it, ask questions, don't be afraid to have conversations with people.
That's solid advice, I think.
Yeah. Which is based on real experience for me, because I'm horrified to ask questions.
Let me center that question a little bit with something a little more specific. When you guys go through the album cycle, the writing, the recording, the release, the music videos, you're touring, you're selling merch, is there a right or wrong way to do that? Is there things that you've learned over time where you've said, okay, not doing it that way again, this time we're going to do it this way, sure, and it's going to work out better?
You have to acclimate with your people. No one's is going to be the same.
Sure.
It's not possible. There might be similarities, but it's not going to be the same, and we still are learning. We're talking about it right now. If we're going back to work on new music for next year, we're going to do it a different way than we've been doing it, because we're feeling like maybe there's a better way. We have a good way, but now good is fine, but we want to push ourselves to maybe be great. So let's maybe need to try some other things that we've never tried before.
Okay.
So we're really excited about continuing to grow versus halting the growth, which I think all of us are guilty of at different points in our lives. Just kind of like, well, it stopped for a bit there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in our own band and in life, you bump up against the opportunities to grow as opposed to the times that you just simply need to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, depending on where you are in life. You know, we all come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and other challenges and whatever the case may be. We're all born into a different scenario. So obviously not all size one fits all. But I will say, I can't imagine what it's, again, like I said, I can't imagine what it's like to be an artist striking out now and having to learn that you are not only the artist, you are also your own marketing team, you're also your own label, you're also your own funder, you're everything.
Right.
You're everything.
Different world.
But if there's any benefit, maybe learning that lesson early on is good. I don't think that I understood that in, 2009.
Right.
I don't think I understood that, like, that's what DIY really means. It's just it's understanding that you are all of these departments, and it's rare that you're going to be put in a position where you're able to pick your own marketing team and you'll be able to work with that team. If you're able to build a team, great.
Yeah.
We're in a very lucky and privileged position to continue to build out our team the way that we want to, in hopes of growth. But not everybody has the know-how or the ability to do that. So I hope everybody gets to do that. Though.
Right. So really, there are a whole bunch of people behind the scenes of you guys as well. It's you guys are all doing your own stuff because you're independent, but you also have other people helping you.
We have some people.
Connections you've
We have
made
some.
maybe later along the way.
Ours is small,
Small.
and intermittently. It's not. We don't have. We don't have anyone that's just like working for us.
No.
All the time.
Right.
We don't have that. We never had that actually. But only he said as we continue to grow. Also post pandemic, we have slowly started to be like, maybe there is room to bring on a couple people in a small way that can help grow this further.
I'll clarify. We're lucky that there's 6 of us because that way, we are able to delegate the tasks. John is our CEO, I'll say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Handles all the business essentially. Where Ricky, mans the fort in terms of being the face of the merch and selling things. I'll deem myself head of music creative, let's say.
Okay.
So that gives me the space, but I'm grateful for that because that gives me the space to focus on what's next musically, as opposed to, some people it's easy to get bogged down and being like, well, I'd love to work on my new songs, but I have to make sure I put up 5 TikToks today. You know what I mean? So whatever the challenges may be, or run the ads,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a full-time job.
It's only becoming more because you do need to compete with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise, you, even faster than in the past, just get lost to the crowd. You're just kind of falling into the ether.
Can I take a stance in terms of advice?
Sure.
Something that was on my mind recently.
Yeah.
I don't know if this applies to every person starting out in, let's say, a new business, but in music, especially if you're playing a very specific genre, it's like you're all setting up pizza shops in a row, and you're all kind of selling pizza, but you'll have to find a new way to get people in. Everybody's gonna have their own audience. Somebody prefers a different pizza shop. They might have 5, 6 in town, but like, I go to this one.
Yeah.
I don't go to that one. I go to this one. You'll find your audience, but you have to find you will find your audience, but you must continue to try to find a way to get more people over to you, even though there's so many people doing the exact same thing. Yeah. And furthermore, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. There's something about music that kind of sparks an entitlement thing, whether you're a listener or a person who makes it. We're so entitled that now we need to stream music for very little money. It used to be that I had to go out and get a CD and give that artist or whatever $10 for this record. We are so entitled as consumers that now we need to be able to just put the song on and not have to even think about it. We needed that. Right. But it also comes from being in music where it's like, we feel like, oh, we put out a really good song or we're working really hard on something, I'm owed this crowd. Not really. It's about selling tickets. How many posts do you see in your group like, oh, and pay to play? Look, I'm not necessarily for like a pay to play thing.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have to bring people into your business. So you have to sell tickets, whether it's the way that you do it, the way that we used to all do it. Hey, I got them for 10. Hand them out, da-da-da.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, you still need to find your audience. That's really what they're trying to make you to do.
Yeah.
I don't like the method in which a lot of people do it. I'm not
Right.
I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying find your audience. Because that's what gives you value as a music artist. Period. We're here because a couple people like us, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And that's, I'll do everything I can for them. But we have them, thank God. But gotta go find them because we owe them. I don't owe anybody else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to explain
Nobody owes
anything
us anything.
to this area, pizza metaphors are usually the way to go. So,
Well, I know who I'm talking to. I know it's about knowing the audience as well.
For sure. And since you were talking about the merch stuff, I mean, you guys, I obviously am a huge nerd. You can see that, and this guy back here as well.
I failed the nerd check earlier. I did not
did
know the
fail.
Mandalorian mask. I'm not a Star Wars guy. I'm so sorry, but I will expose myself right now.
Exposed.
Well, I mean, look, I think we were pretty on with these putting in the Mandalorian world, but you went super specific and was like, well, in Knights of the Old Republic, that's the guy who killed him.
I was informed.
And like that's I can do
I
that.
was informed before you arrived that you were nerds. So
We are.
I'll admit that Star Wars is not my franchise.
Yeah.
I could do that with a myriad of other things, but Star Wars is not necessarily mine. I would sooner ask you.
I'm like a level 3. If you had a 5, I'm a level 3 out of 5 Star Wars fan.
Okay.
I got in fairly more than a 1 or a 2, but I rejected going 4 or 5. I said no, that's okay. One of my very good friends is a 5. I was like, brother, you're saying stuff to me that I don't need to know because I need to know other stuff too. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I don't want to eliminate some info for new info. Like the info that I do have, I want to retain. It got to a place where I have the right info for me.
How about this?
Exactly. I'm good there.
Are you familiar with the very short-lived television show Firefly and this preceding
am.
movie Serenity?
Yeah.
So the band name is Keep Flying, and that's based completely off of one of the intro segments of Firefly. And there are many, many like lyrics and songs in which I reference the show and the movie.
Yeah.
So as well as other shows and movies, if I'm being honest, but the entire band name stemmed right from Firefly.
Single
and that.
season.
So I would
Lyric
so
sheet.
so I'd be happy to provide it for you. So I would still classify myself as a nerd, but I will very honestly say that Star Wars has just never been like a favorite thing of mine.
This guy will talk to you about Buffy all day.
I'll talk to you about Whedonverse stuff all day long.
He's in.
On top of anything else. So that
Trivia,
is in my
whatever you
purview,
got.
yeah.
He watches 4 episodes a day.
Well, I've seen you guys do some Marvel shirts before.
Yep.
Yes.
Spider-Man
Yep.
specifically, I think. I think I saw a Beetlejuice one at one point.
Yes, sir.
There's a couple
Those are
of different
Halloween one
ones.
this year.
Yeah. So I love to hear more on that end of things and doing the merchandise designing,
Yeah.
figuring out what people are gonna buy, that sort of stuff.
It's a lot of different thoughts put into it. John and I have a lot of phone calls before each tour talking about designs.
Okay.
And then specifics towards the designs, which like the color of the blank, what kind of blank we want to use. If there's gonna be more, we have one guy, our friend Chris, who does all of our design work, and it's crazy that he can do every style. He's just, I describe him as an environmental scientist. I always think it's wrong to some degree.
Yeah.
But when I picture him, he's out in the woods for weeks at a time, and then we get a hold of him, hopefully, and he comes up with designs
That
we
is
can
him.
use. But no, it's a mix of things. We're very fortunate that we are in control of all of our own design work and stuff like that. So we have fun with it. We like to keep up with like pop culture things we like to do. It's something that everyone can kind of relate to, even if you're not exactly a music person. It's not just like a Misfits skull shirt. It's something you can relate to and wear out. And it's not, oh, it's a band shirt. Oh, that's you like Spider-Man, you like the Marvel Universe, and you also like this band that happens to have the shirt design
Putting
too.
those together, I'm buying it.
And then other little things like you can only have so many black T-shirts, or you have way too many band T-shirts. So we constantly think tank other items, trinkets, wares you can have that kind of fit into your world, but don't feel so overwhelming to you that you're drowning in shirts.
It is absolutely vital to the sustainability of the band.
Yeah,
For sure.
Completely vital. When we started the band, one of the strategies behind the name and the iconography was something that can be attributed to other items and other, not necessarily fandoms, but just a brand that has some level of, durability and versatility. And luckily, just the name I think it's a great name. If I'm being, I don't want to sound
It
gauche,
is.
but
It's a very solid band name.
I think it's a very applicable term to almost anything. Our band merch, to me, my favorite stuff doesn't look like band merch. It's just, it could be in a store.
Marshall's on a plaque.
Yeah.
A nice phrase, an uplifting, positive Marshall's plaque.
You know the ones.
That my
TJ
mother would
Maxx,
buy with a nice font on like a piece of burnt wood with a little rope that you hang up in the kitchen.
Or the ones that are printed on like a tin.
You're right.
I like those. Like this.
Keep flying the bucket.
We will make them.
Don't forget to talk.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the music itself and your latest album. So the segment we like to call the breakdown. This is where we go track by track of an artist's latest release to hear the inspiration and stories behind each song. Now, this could be about the lyrics, the composition, the recording, whatever you want to share, what you ever think is maybe the most interesting aspect of these particular songs. So your new EP is Daylight, which was recently released in August. So let's get into it. The first track is Transparency. What can you tell us about the inspiration of that, or the writing of whatever you think is interesting about it to you, or means something to you personally,
I'll try to be succinct,
or even what it's about,
as I could go on about this stuff. Mm-hmm.
Which he does on our TikTok.
I do. I try to be as involved on there. Please follow us on TikTok. It's our weakest social media.
Keep
A
flying.
lot of breakdowns of like each song, or like very deep dive. So.
Okay.
Which I like to do because as the head lyricist, let's say, everything I write is pretty layered. So I try not to have any throwaway lines. I try not to have anything that can't be tied into something else. It's all very well thought out, which unfortunately why it takes me so long to finish anything. But Transparency, when conceiving this record, I wanted it to be a very diverse record, and I wanted to come out of the gate pretty hard. At first it was just an intro track. It was just like a verse. It was not something that was meant to be long. And I sent the first draft to the band, and they were like, "Why'd you stop?" And so I extended it and kind of made it this pretty minor, kind of dark beginning. Daylight, to me, I write things in sequence. It's not super episodic, but as I stated before, I'm a big fan of everything is kind of based on TV in my brain. So picking up directly where Survival left off, which kind of ended on a kind of, I don't want to say down note, but it's a darker record. I'm taking right from that, lyrically, thematically, and I wanted the record to end in a far more happy note. So I'm starting it from the bottom, now we're here, and then bring it to a different spot. So I wanted to kind of start it pretty dark, kind of heavy. In short, thematically, it's really just about... I have a very poor relationship with the truth. I think that, not that I'm a liar or anything. I'm a person who kind of omits things and kind of shies away from uncomfortable things. And so, just starting with the idea of I'm trying to be as honest and open with people in my life as I can be, and that's kind of without going too deep into it. That's kind of what it's about. So I wanted to start us really, I wanted to kick ass in the beginning, really. And then see where it takes us, which I think is a different approach to records than we've done before. I wanted to see like how people would feel about getting right into it, like waste no time.
Okay.
So it's still pretty succinct, short song, but it kind of hit you hard, hit you fast. So
It's fun for me to finally apply like an actual amount of vocals to a Keep Flying song. So that for me, that's what that one is. That was the first time I really got to be screaming, not just in one or two little lines, but because I do a lot of vocals live and a lot of ad libs live, but on recording not really. But that one was the start of what some things could look like in the future with some more other aggressive vocal parts.
Oh, it will.
On certain songs.
The band, I mean, I am the lead singer, and I'm singing pretty much the majority, the whole time. But we have other voices, and it seems silly not to employ that.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be very cool, especially since John is good at kind of doing like the yelling thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how that would play on a record in tandem with me. So it's a really cool thing.
Also, going back to what you said earlier,
You should listen to it.
with the current lineup, we have used other people's voices within this band, and then they've departed the band before we got to really use the voices on some of those songs live. So it was a shame. So it's like finally we were at a point with this record where we're like, well, it's not going to change. So this feels good to know we can use these voices because these are the voices that will carry live as well. Okay. We give people the authentic sound.
Yeah.
So it was nice. So I feel like that worry has shifted away. You know what I mean?
Transparency.
Rick?
Stream it now.
I honestly don't have anything else to add for that one.
All right, well, let's jump in.
Short one.
It's a
Left
short one.
Behind.
I think these will all start with him. And then we'll.
That works.
Yeah.
It's not an ego.
It's
thing.
it's easy to do it like that.
It's just where it comes from. Left Behind is probably still my favorite of the record. I really just sought out to write a really catchy yet kick-ass song. It's almost, I don't want to say it's the opposite of Transparency, but it bleeds right into it, but it's a far more kind of jumpy, happy song. And this one is... It's not political. Like I will never ever lyrically take a stand on anything. That's not what we're about really. I'd rather people wonder what my opinions are than confirm them. Okay. And we're not really out to be a rah kind of thing. It's not really part of the messaging.
Yeah.
But I am affected by what happens out in the world, and I'm inspired by it. And this song is kind of informed by that. It's not unlike some of the other ones. It's not really based on just my own experience. I kind of took from out in the world and brought it in.
Okay.
Mostly just societal, and it's kind of vague. I'll never be like, hey, this is. I'm just not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
But thematically, it's really just it's my word today. I just feel I'm a person who doesn't feel very connected to a lot of cultural aspects of being an American in general, and I think there's other people that feel that way too. I've always felt like a misfit, and there's plenty of when Cleat Flying has attracted a good deal of them too, and we love them for it. I just feel very left behind in certain respects. I feel like there's you're born into. Some people are lucky enough to be born into a situation, not necessarily money, but like you're born into privilege. You're born into opportunities that aren't afforded to everybody else, and some people have it, some people don't. And I'm not saying I'm left out of everything, but I don't know. A lot of times I feel like a guy who missed a really, really important class at school, and I should have been there, and maybe I would be a little bit further along in my life, and that's mostly what it's about. All the while, it's a really, really catchy and happy sounding song. So even if you don't look too deep into it, it's just a little bit of an ass shaker. So
yeah, for me, it's we get to we get to do a lot of jumping, and it's a good crowd song, and our band really thrives on crowd participation and being able to engage with the people who are wanting to give the energy back. It refuels us and vice versa. And lyrically speaking, it doesn't hit me any of the things he said. I had no idea that it was about that. And for me, it was instantly about people that I felt like I've done a lot of tremendous amount of favors and have gotten very little back. And again, I'm not complaining. That is what was my fate, and that's fine. But fast forward in my life, I look back, I'm like, I really just did a lot happily for nothing in return, and maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I learned, and here I am. You know what I mean? And now, on that same note, I don't let that happen to our people. I don't let people leave our shows feeling that way. I can't allow that to happen. I feel an urgency to look out for people who, like Henry and myself and maybe Rick, anyone else who does feel that way about whatever it is they feel that way that they're left behind by. I'd rather have them with us, left behind on the little pile. But I'd rather keep our pile. Oh, well, you could just sit with us over here. That way you're not alone. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, that's my table and lunch.
You're right.
That's
you
what
can
it
sit with
was.
us. And that's how it was.
That's how my whole life's been.
That's how it was for me in high school. It ended up
Socially.
being all the losers sat in one table. It was
Table
nice.
9 from the Wedding Singer. You said it.
Yeah. I should say that I like what you said, that you don't that's not your takeaway. I should say that any songs I say this like I'm the first person to write a song, so forgive how haughty I sound, but I'm happy that anybody has a different takeaway or interpretation to what I said, because that's what's fun about writing songs. That's what's fun about making art. When you stand and look at a painting, you're not going to see it the same way this guy does.
Yep.
And that's what's exciting about it. When you finish a song, it no longer is yours.
Yeah.
And that's exciting for me to hear other people's interpretation. Some people, I don't know why Billy Corgan popped in my head, but I feel like some people, maybe because of you, it could be why.
Could be. Yeah.
I'm joking. But he just
Check this out.
it is me. Let's talk about melancholy now. I feel like some musicians are like, if you don't understand what I'm saying, then you don't really get it. And it's like, what's there to get? We're going to take what we take. So I like when people have a different interpretation. It's fun. Sorry. Just want to interject that.
Well, the world is a vampire.
That's right. Well, so is Rick.
That's also
He is
true.
a vampire.
No, I mean, I think it was a good choice. We chose for that song to be our first single from the new album, and I thought it was a great way to kind of get people a vibe of what things could be and still leave a lot out of the equation for them to kind of figure out once the record came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plus, like we were saying, it's the song that I felt translated the quickest for us in terms, because there's a learning curve from playing songs in the studio for us to having them apply live.
Yes.
Okay.
And that one's been the quickest, where it's just we figured out what we want to do during that song and how we want to perform it, and it hits people the best way.
Great point.
Next up, we have Arrival.
Yes, we do.
Three?
Oh, yeah.
I was just sitting here.
You just
I'm
think
just
about
sitting here agreeing with you.
Yes.
That is the next one.
That is.
I had to think about it for a second. I was like, is that 3? Yeah.
That is 3.
It is.
This one, I don't know. I went for catchy the whole time, and I usually will unless it's a super duper heavy thing. But I love we play in a punk rock band, but I love pop music, and so that kind of informs a lot of what I've been doing, at least with regard to the structure of a song. And this one, I classify it as the sad one, but it still gets aggressive at the end too. It's a melancholy song. Lyrically, it stems from I've had a pretty massive growth period over the past couple of years. I feel like I spent a lot of time, even within this band, being really closed off from people that are right in front of me. And I've been trying to reconnect with the parts of myself that allow me to let people in and allow them to be, let people into me and share with them. And it's been really, really difficult to do. And so I kind of reflect on that in this song. It's been, while a lot of this stuff conversationally is natural for me, a lot of other things don't feel so natural anymore. It's like parts of my brain have atrophied if I'm not using them, and it's like trying to regain muscle in a part of your body you haven't used in so long. And while the song is not a conclusion that I've figured it out. It's still something I deal with every day. But this is just a pretty honest reflection of how difficult it is for me to maintain and make, connections work symbiotically with people in my life. So I'm just sitting right here. So it's like, I thought it was appropriate for me to sing about. It was a tough one to do. I had to redo that one a couple times because I wanted it to be just right. And because of that, it's one of my favorites on the record. I think we took a lot of musical swings as well. There's a little bit of electronic drums, and it's kind of different tempos.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It comes to different feel of things that we've done before. And not only was it a swing for me with the lyrics, but I'm happy with the chances we took instrumentally. I like it.
Yeah, you guys are definitely playing with some different sounds on this.
Yeah.
Compared to some previous releases.
Yeah.
Got to try things.
Something I want to continue doing also.
See, again, like we talked about growing and changing, got to try. I mean, you don't have to try, but we're gonna, because we have nothing to lose, so we might as well try.
That's right.
The name of the song changed a bunch. You
A lot.
and I had to have a conversation about what we wanted to call it.
Well, when me and Henry finally talked about the song, it helped our friendship. The song, like the song being created and the lyrics, and us then having a conversation really helped our friendship, actually. So that is my favorite thing about that song.
Unfortunately, it's really hard to play, so I've been having a hard time. Like, I really want to continue playing it, but like I personally, I've been like, I've gotten so in my head about how to play guitar, and I've just been.
It's also fallen into we have a pool of mid-tempo songs that we've created, where we still rock them on stage, but no matter how much we move. It's hard to translate the energy back from people, so it just doesn't perform live as well as the rest of the set. So you feel like the energy gets sucked out of the room a little bit when we play that, which sometimes we don't want to do. Sometimes we do. We're like, thank God we have this song coming up because we need a breather. But then sometimes we're like, okay, we have a half an hour power set. Really gonna suck the room, take the life away for 3 minutes? I don't know if that's the move.
Right.
Great song. Just like what Rick was saying about translating to live. It's just fallen victim.
Well, it's one of those things where like you can, for us at least, you can hear our music and that's one thing, but really the live show and kind of seeing it and experience that helps you get the full picture of our band.
Well, you guys have you mentioned it before. You guys have such a fun, almost contradiction with how happy and lively the songs sound, but then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is a very serious topic, actually.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that's really a part of how you're composing these things purposely, I would imagine.
It is. It's almost it's completely. It's part of the plan.
Has to be. Makes it easier for people to actually hear what's being said when they go home and actually read it and go, what you just said. Whoa,
Right.
That's me. But those people made it feel all right. And, and there's other people were at the show and they already knew the words and they were singing. So those people are all right. So maybe these are my people. I think one of my favorite things about our band is how many friendships have been made of people who come and enjoy our music, and we find out 6 months later, like these two people who didn't know each other met each other at one of our shows, and now they're like good friends.
They're hanging out.
That's like a really exciting thing for me.
That's the
It
best.
makes me feel really, really good. Like, oh, these are good people, and they met each other through our band. That's great.
Maddie flew to Boston to hang out with Aaron.
I know. It's special, especially some of the people we meet who seemingly don't have a great support system or don't have like a lot of people. It's like, well, come on, come to the carnival. This is a circus over here. I know it might be a little bit crazy, a little extrovert energy, but I assure you, we're gonna find a little bit of that person in you, and you're gonna acclimate. I promise.
I'm just trying to make it okay to be here, you know, for myself. And as it turns out, a couple other people are down with that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue singing about, you know, the stuff in my head, which might not always be rosy. I'm not going to bullshit you. You know, it's like, I'm not going to just, again, the lyrics for me is so important. It's so, it all comes from a real spot. You know, there's no wasted lines. It doesn't come from just like, well, I need something to sing here, you know?
Right.
So it's, and I think that people who do get it, at least as much as they want to get it, I think they realize that it's not filler.
Yeah.
Not about filler. That's why our records are so short.
That's why we never had a full one.
That's right. I mean, even the call and response part John and I do in Arrival, it's just a very like sad, melancholy
Yeah.
back and forth.
With the horns,
Yeah.
for sure. That part is sad.
That's what Nick, when we were recording, Nick's like, be sad. And I was not in a great place we were doing. I'm like, I got this. Just let me run it.
But then the energy picks up in track 4.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Peace be the journey.
That's a great one.
I pitched the name for that one.
Yes, he did. That's a great one. That is a great one.
It came from another idea, and then yours was more, makes more sense. It's more keep flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. This I don't care. This song is my this song is my diss song.
Okay.
I've written a few. We've been here a long time. You don't stay in one job that long without you don't get along with everybody, and they're not gonna like you, and sometimes you're not gonna like them. Sometimes you do for a while, and then sometimes you don't.
Sure.
And this song was me addressing past relationships, let's say, not romantic, and just casting it away. I want to shine a light on it, because unfortunately there's I wanted there to, like, at this point in my life in music and everything, I wanted to work as hard as I could because I didn't want to have any regrets. Unfortunately, I do. As I spent my entire 20s navigating an industry that taught me nothing about itself, I made a lot of mistakes. And it's okay. Everybody's going to make mistakes. I definitely could have done a lot of things better, but a lot of other people could have done a lot of things better too. And my whole thing with this song is acknowledging where I've gone wrong, and saying, hey, it's okay, as long as you're doing better. As long as you're focusing on doing better now, which I am, and at the helm of my own life, and recognizing that my choices have consequences, and doing my best to not bring anybody down with me. I think I'm doing okay, but I'm also saying goodbye to people that and things and experiences that no longer serve me, and there's nothing I can do to change except to change. I can't change what happened. I can change what's going to happen, maybe, if I do my best. And straight up, I just it's just people that are out there that I just don't get along with and don't like, and they don't have to like me, and I don't have to like them, and that's okay. We're just going on our own
Nice.
path.
It really is like, the title. It is more so this is what it is, and we've all accepted it. So let's just be peaceful about it and see you later.
Yeah.
It's not a screw you per se of it. More so, yo, enough, and also good luck. Which I think is a better way than we would have addressed things. Speaking about us on the couch even a couple years ago. It's just a different way now. It's like, well, all good.
When I was younger, it would be commonplace for me to see, oh, they got a tour. Oh,
Right.
something like that.
It's easy to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
I try not to look at things anymore, or look at things like that anymore. Or it would be commonplace for if there is a conflict of some kind, or somebody's not feeling good about whatever's happening. I don't know. Somebody's angry with you. You're angry with them. They're feeling some type of way. Of course, if you're in a position to address it, you should. But if you're not, my phrase for a while was, I got this from a radio personality, but we're sending them healing energy. I'm sending them healing energy, which is what I wanted the song to be called. I wanted it to be.
Sure did.
I was like, this is they're going. Oh, they're upset. They're doing something. Whatever the case may be, I'm sending them healing energy because I'm not trying to beef with them. I'm not trying to be like, I'm not going to engage in a negative way and get down to the dirt with them.
Yeah.
I send you healing energy. I hope it gets better for you. It's not what we ended up calling it. Rick interpolated the Cool Runnings bit, which is far more part of the Keep Flying ethos than that. So peace be the journey it is.
It's really just like a positive way of separating yourself.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Also,
right. That's right.
the Horn Bridge rocks.
More Bridge Rocks, fast punk song,
So good.
aggressive song with aggressive, but resolve. Aggressive lyrics, but with resolve. Of okay,
Yeah.
we don't want to talk about this anymore. Tired.
We're good.
It does apply for each of us. It applies to different people and things like this, and old friends and what have you.
That said, I'm happy to discuss anything that anybody wants to. I'm not hard to find. It's just that I can't spend any more time mulling over decisions that were made before I was in a position to be intelligent enough to know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
It's like now I have a better idea what's going on. If we want to hash this out, we can. If not, it's all good. It's all good.
I think this also stemmed for him from a place of all of us, venting to each other about scenarios that we're going through with certain people, and all of us attempting to have dialogues, conversations,
And closure.
any sort of resolutions, and just being met with nothing in return. I think that was a big part of how many more times are we going to try to have this conversation?
Right.
You're not going to have a conversation with us. That's it. As in relating to us as individuals, and then as a band, some of the conflicts we've had as a band.
Yeah.
So, the good news is everybody's got their people. Everybody's got their support system. We've got us. We've got you guys. We know our people, and it's great to know your people, and it's great to also know who aren't, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
I
And
don't
healthy.
wish harm on people that aren't either.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a different. I think it's a
Correct.
different thing. I think that again, when you introduce musician ego, and you introduce a lot of mishandled feelings,
Yeah.
it's easy to be like, I want them to no. I'm
don't care.
Old now, man. I'm too
Right.
old to just go live. It's
Peace
all
be
good.
the journey. It's that.
Yeah. I
Big world.
wish more people would have that attitude.
You know what? It took us a while to get there. We're human.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
it wasn't an easy thing.
But
to
here we
accomplish.
are.
Yeah.
I think it's totally, unfortunately, a little too natural to want to get into the dirt with people. I
Right.
think that's. I think, tribalism is ingrained in everybody,
Yeah.
and you want to protect your people and you want to protect yourself. And I am like, in my nature, unfortunately, a little too defensive at times, and so it's easy to just to take that low road.
Yeah.
But with a lot of concentration and focus, you can find a better way. Let's move on.
We got The Passenger.
Completely different
Nice
song now.
transition.
Very
I
different
was gonna
song,
say, yeah,
musically, lyrically.
Jumping from one
Yeah.
side to the other. For sure.
Streams. Yeah. Nothing. Our
By the
baby.
way, it is not a cover of Susie and the Banshees.
Who?
mean
I am.
Iggy Pop?
I'm sorry,
You
Iggy Pop.
know.
I am the passenger. I
Talk
didn't.
about this.
I didn't even think about it until recently. I'm sorry.
It's
Susie.
not.
I'm sorry. Iggy Pop did it first, and then Susie and the Banshees did it. My bad. This guy.
It also has nothing to do with the film that Chuck, our bassist, loves recently. The sci-fi film that
There
got
were
like a
so many films after
4
each
or
of the
5.
titles.
So
The Kirk Cameron Left Behind.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, Kirk. Oh, yeah, Kirk. Oh,
I saw the
You know it,
VHS
dude,
tape.
go
Got
to
on
any.
VHS.
I need you to go to any Goodwill in this country, Salvation Army, Goodwill, thrift store, whatever. You will find several copies of Left Behind starring Kirk Cameron, and maybe even the sequels in that bin.
Oh yeah.
And every time I find one, I'm like, check it out,
There it
yo.
is.
On all types of media.
Arrival
Oh,
was
yeah.
a film.
Arrival was
Oh,
a film.
yeah.
The Passenger was a film. I think it's just Passenger though,
Passenger, yeah. No.
which Chuck, who does not watch
which we
movies,
also added.
was like, "This is a great movie."
Yeah, we loved it.
What?
Arrival was another sci-fi.
Yeah,
It was a sci-fi
it
too.
was, yeah. Still waiting on 198 Broadway. The
Sci-fi
movie.
film,
Still
yeah.
waiting on
That'd be a
it.
horror,
That'll
like
be
slasher
us.
film.
That'll be us. We'll do
That'd be sick.
Anyway, The Passenger. We did a record before this called Revival, which was like the auxiliary release to Survival, in which we kind of reimagined a bunch of our songs in different genres, a lot of which it was not a punk record at all. But I had such a great time with it because my favorite thing about this band is that we are not one thing. And my favorite thing about my favorite media are things that are not one thing. I like things that make me laugh as easily as they make me cry. I like things that make me think as easily as it's fun to just turn my brain off.
Yeah.
And so this band for me, my goal is to be as diverse of a band as we can. And doing Revival showed me, oh, we can do a bunch of different things. We can be folky. We can be a more soft-spoken version of ourselves. We can do a lot of different things. We can do catchy. We can do poppy. So around the time that we were doing that is when I conceived The Passenger, which is a far more laid-back and slow song. The tempo never picks up at all. It's almost like a Pinkerton era Weezer song to me. I don't know if it sounds that way, but like writing it kind of felt that way.
I can see that.
And I just wanted to see what it would sound like to slow us down and kind of go for more melody as opposed to just straight up aggression and loudness. I still think it kicks ass, but it's definitely a different sort of thing. And I definitely, when I'm able to, I'm happy to test our audience. As an audience member, I like to be tested. I like to be challenged.
He does.
I like to challenge. I like when people challenge the form. It's fun. I know that that's not the norm for people. People like to stay status quo, right down the middle. Don't change what you've been giving me. But I like to. I don't want to say be provocative. It's not like I go up there and shock people.
Get
but
the people going.
not yet. But doesn't say I won't. But I like a challenge. So that's what this was, at least with its structure.
Can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
I tried to challenge myself to hold my bladder. I'm gonna run to the bathroom while you keep going. If that's cool.
good. Yeah,
If you're cool with that. Now I'm gonna use this bottle on.
Van style? Bucket?
Keep going. Keep going.
We have a real
need
bathroom
buckets.
here.
You're going too?
No, I'm getting my candy now.
Get
that
your
I can
candy.
stand
That's
up.
fine. There you go.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, here.
I'll let you be looking at that bag for like 5 minutes.
Nice, bro. Oh, they smell so good. Love a gummy candy.
Delicious.
I lyrically, kind of similar to kind of similar in theme to Arrival, where I really, in at least in partially all these songs, to the dismay of people that know me, including my wife, who really informed this one. I wrote about just the struggles of my relationships And I feel as though to be ingratiated in a relationship with me, be it romantic or otherwise, I'm taking you for a ride. And you might not always like where we're going. And it's not like I want it to be that way. I just there's just a lot of things about me that make it difficult to be associated with me. It's not as salacious as you think. It's really just annoying. As it turns out, it's called ADHD. I had no idea. I thought I was just quirky and fun.
We didn't listen.
And when you're in in high school and in your 20s, people kind of give you a little bit more grace, like he's still just figuring it out. Right. But when you're 34, it's like, dude, can you please? I don't have time for this. And so and it goes from that surface level stuff to deeper things that the nitty gritty of relationships and things of that nature. And so that's really what it's about. The crowning line of the song is, "You're the passenger by my side, and I'm the one who survives." So it's like someone's along the ride with me, and they are worse for it. Meanwhile, I'm at least seemingly okay. And that's kind of the overall theme of the song. But please do not leave the car. Please don't leave. That's kind of what it's about. And instrumentally, big swing, because it's slow. Our band is very fast, generally, even on record, even faster live. We're working on it. And I just, again, I like the challenge, not only the audience, but my guys. I was like, what do you guys think about doing this slower tune? And just going for melody. So I think I like it.
I've turned my phone on volume just because the tornado has touched the ground in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So like everybody's.
I thought you were going to say another tornado in Pennsylvania
No,
this
they're
year.
like she's in the supermarket.
Yeah.
So
They sheltered in place.
yeah, like Kroger.
Fuck
If
yeah.
the ceiling it starts coming off, please run to the back. That's what they just said.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you have her just grab a bunch of things beforehand?
Loot.
It's for survival. It's not. This isn't in
Loot
protest.
Kroger.
It's not in protest. It's just so she has something to survive on.
I'll jump off what you were saying, kind of. So you said it was a big swing, and I agree. But another thing, I guess, in our interworld is we've been working a lot on communication and just amongst ourselves, with each other, with people. Like, communicating is a big thing in the world now, especially once everyone was cut off over COVID. So being able to communicate how you're feeling is a big thing, at least personally, that I've tried to also get other people to do. But that's the one thing I really enjoy about The Passenger is it's very stripped back and raw in the way of, like, you're hitting. You're not, it's a big swing, but you're putting it all out there for everyone to absorb. And that's kind of what the whole record is too, is it's different pockets of that, but
It's very
that
honest.
one is the most on the table.
Yes. It's not even that poetic. Usually I kind of use prose and flowery language.
Yeah.
Nothing too hard to understand, but this one I would say is it is raw. You are right.
Yeah.
And it's really straightforward. It's not too hard to understand.
Remember, even when we were recording it, like Chuck was trying to do some harmonies, and we were like, nah, doesn't need the second voice. It just needs to be more.
It hits harder.
Yeah, we like tried it, and we're like, nah, it's better alone. More emotion behind it like that.
Yeah.
It is the slowest song we have, and we've only played it live once.
Yes.
Well, twice, because we did once.
One time.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
I think that's cool. I think that, not because we're not going to play it, but I think that when we do play it, it'll be more exciting, because it would be more like our show, where it's like more like a home show thing where people know it, and or if it happens to develop a life of its own. Surviving the Night was not the song when Survival came out. that wasn't the song. It wasn't until we started playing it live that suddenly that became the song on the record. That is people's favorite song. That translates live with the most emotion of any of the songs. It did not start that way. So, I always am excited to see where things naturally and organically grow to. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's nice having a couple songs that we're rehearsed in the whole catalog, but it's nice having a couple songs that we only pick out sometimes. So, and who knows? Maybe 2 years from now we'll be playing at every show. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
We'll see.
In the past, I mean, we started playing shows on a record with 4 songs on it.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to build a set off of that.
Yep.
And I think in the past, it's always like, well, this is what we have, this is what we're doing. And now that we're, 4 or 5 records deep, it's like we actually have a catalog, so we can actually afford to have a song that doesn't get the play, but is, equal in quality, in my opinion. It's still not like a waster. It's just,
Sure.
it's just a dark horse, which I think is fun.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And those will you get your fans who really want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you hold it back for a while.
Yep.
And don't play it for a long time. And then when you do, it has such an impact.
Someone asked for it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like,
A few times.
A couple times.
interesting.
Well, I go see my favorite bands, and I'm like, dude, you won't believe they played this. Whoa.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I
exactly.
love that. I love that feeling as a fan. So
Yep.
if I can cultivate that in our fans, it's great.
My friend Kate used it on an Instagram story. It was the first time that song has been put up, like as the music on a Instagram story, and I was like, damn, here it is. Maybe.
So yeah, it'll slowly build
Maybe.
that following
Maybe.
over time.
Maybe.
I think people can relate to that song lyrically, big time.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah, so we'll see.
And we got one more. It's 198 Broadway.
Well, what are you doing?
Pointing at them all.
Oh, right. There's cameras there, and there.
There's a camera in here.
Also right here.
Did you get water bottle cans? So 198 Broadway.
I did see that. He just did a quick, all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Great movie all the time.
Right.
Amazing movie.
That's a good one.
That was great. We saw it in theaters together, yeah.
Me and Rick saw it in theaters together after a very unfortunate day that I had,
Oh, it was
like
rough.
moments after, and it was thank God because the movie was
the
so
best
good. I walked out being like, I think I'm okay right now. Actually, I
Yeah.
think I'll process this later. That was something. 198.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah.
It's a big song.
I'm not bullshit you, bro. You
Big
get what you
song.
get. My mind goes everywhere. So 198 Broadway is the address to the Amityville Music Hall, which is, for all intents and purposes, our home venue. So our home shows happen in Amityville, New York, and this is where not only our biggest fans on the East Coast go, but now it's become a thing where, nationwide, people come to, the Keep Flying headliner. And that's where we have our shows. Quite honestly, when I was doing all of this record and this song, I was thinking that this would be the last thing I did. And I was pretty done, and I was pretty like, all right, I'm gonna write this record, I'm gonna end it with this song, and this is gonna be the last song that I write for Keep Flying, and then I guess I'll move on and see what happens. So it very much is I've never addressed our crowd in a song before, or our crowd or the people in our life that are fans and friends, what have you, the community at large. I've never actually, brought them into the ethos of the lyrics before, and I wanted to do it one time, and I wanted just basically to say thank you. Because if this was going to be my last one, I wanted it to be like this. If they never got to listen to the band again or see the band again or anything, I wanted this to be the last thing that they heard. And so that's where the intention of all of it came from. It was kind of just and also do it in a very positive way. This one's to me a very happy song, despite the the slight, you know, the negative connotation of it. In terms of a goodbye, it's a happy goodbye. As it turns out, I did the song and had such a great time doing the record that I changed my mind. So I'm still here. But if it were to be it for everything, this is how I'd like it to end. You know, so I wrote my ending, and that is the culmination of daylight, as opposed to the nightfall themes of survival. It's kind of a two-parter in that regard. So it's like where you come from this darker place in this record, it ends in a very happy place here. You know, we've thought of it as the journey of one character, and this is the ending of this chapter is a lot happier than the last one. And so
he's reached the cover art. It's like where the character has maybe gotten to now. Came out the mountains. Sun finally came up. Their legs are tired, but they've made it down. They've kind of mulled their way over through the fields, through flowers. There's a lighthouse there. You can start to see the seagulls, see the water.
Maybe we really are the Fellowship of the
Maybe
Ring.
we really are.
maybe.
Someone said that the other day to us.
Lord of the Rings size.
Are we still nerds in your eyes? There you go.
You guys are
See?
Lord of the
You're
Rings.
doing
about
well.
that.
You're
Thank you.
getting up there.
Thank you so much. There's no I just can't sit by while somebody is like questioning whether or not I'm a nerd, knowing how much Did You Know gaming on Sonic games I watched today.
No, brother, I watched him watch it. I watched him watch. Out of
You
my
don't
peripherals
understand
like this.
how many I watched today and what else I've been watching, and to have you question the nerddom is I'm like, oh man, I
apologize.
I must prove. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It's not all about Star Wars. There's many
for
other.
some
it is.
And
For some it
respect
is.
to
Trust
you.
me.
I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars guy, but it's Marvel first for me.
There you go.
It's always Marvel.
Can I throw some? We can go back to our songs if you want, but we've been on it for a while.
Yeah.
But can I throw something
We're
out there?
talking about Marvel now.
Throw it out there.
Can I throw something out there as someone who is, let's say, at best lukewarm on Star Wars and Marvel? With respect, I'm not saying I dislike it. I'm just saying it's not like my main crux of things.
Yes.
Actually, I'll pose it as a question because I'm curious as to how you feel. Do you feel as though your nerddom is threatened by the fact that Marvel and Star Wars are not really niche things? They're not niche at all. They are mainstream, at least where I'm concerned.
Not
where
anymore.
I see.
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
They're not neat. They're not niche anymore.
No, they're
so
not.
mainstream.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
In
To
the
the
late
point.
80s to early 90s, Star Wars was very niche.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
disagree with you
yeah.
at all. I think that's correct. But I'm saying, at least in the present time,
For sure.
is it odd for you that these things are again? I think they're so ubiquitous and so mainstream that to call anybody who likes Star Wars a nerd, or anything like that is not correct. I just think you go to movies. I think you just watch TV.
I love the popularity it's gained because the hardcore people are the worst. Nobody hates Star Wars and Marvel more than Star Wars and Marvel fans.
Right.
I would
Oh, okay.
with the casual
That's
fan.
fair.
I
can agree with
have
that.
actual life problems, so when I read a comic book or go to a movie, I'm never going to get mad about it.
Right.
I'm going
Right.
to enjoy it and walk
Right.
away. I'm not going to have an argument. So I'd much rather the casual new people who come into it now, I'd rather talk about it with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So so you feel welcomed by that
I love
feel.
it.
That's
I
great.
love it.
Good for you. That's a really great outlook. Because I don't
Brings
like
the magic
just
back
what you
to the
described. I that bothers me. That people are so in that you can't even have a discussion with him.
Sure, yeah.
He's pointing at you.
Oh, there's too many.
I'm just messing around.
My old friend used to tell me, dude, you like everything. Like, we'd leave the movies and I'd be like, that was pretty good. That was terrible. That was so terrible. And I'd be like, no, it was pretty good. Like, I can differentiate between okay and like really good, but I'm never a guy who's like, that's bad. Except for The Hangover 2, which is
I was
really,
gonna say
That was
really
bad.
bad. Really bad. You agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
to me. It's like
Worst.
if it were me, it's like, and I'm going to preface this with saying I love Taylor Swift, But it's like saying, "Oh, I'm a music fan because I love Taylor Swift." Like it's the most culturally important music artist at the moment. So how deep into it could you possibly be? That's just the way I look at it. Like saying, "Oh, I'm a big nerd. I love Star Wars." I'm like, are you though? Like, just not you. Clearly, I see the helmets behind you. But I'm just saying, but that's not everybody. You understand? I meet a random. It's so random. I like Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Rich is gonna put
That's just how I feel about it.
Oh, I'll put a helmet on.
Oh, we'll put
Who's that, Magneto?
That's funny.
That's a specific Magneto.
No, that's Ultron, I think.
That's not Ultron. Get out of
Rich
here.
is saying wrong things.
He's been
Listen,
dirty,
I'm-
man.
That's
You're out.
Oh, you're strong bad.
I'm very mad
I got
that
it.
you're not taking this
That's
seriously.
strong bad.
I'm very mad that you're not taking this seriously. It's strong bad. I could see that.
Fandoms bother me. It makes me sad.
For sure,
Like,
worse.
Bring
it's
back
just,
strong man.
man.
You know what I realized? Apparently there's a Godzilla fandom that I was unaware of.
Oh, big
New
time.
Godzilla
Big
movie
time.
is freaking awesome.
I heard it was amazing.
Yeah, everybody's saying it's
really
great.
great.
My friend told me I'm gonna cry.
But all these people I've known for years are talking about what gigantic Godzilla fans they are, and I'm like,
Since when?
Really?
literally never said the word Godzilla
This is
ever
news to me.
in 40 years that I've known you. And then this movie comes out, and they're like, and the next one they'll hate,
Right.
no matter how good it is.
It's funny how that works.
It makes me think of like the new Planet of the Apes movies, and then how Pete just loves the old ones.
Yeah.
I love the new ones.
They're great.
And the old ones.
The new ones are great. It's just
They're so different.
they're two different things.
Totally different things.
But yeah.
The Mark
there's
Wahlberg one sucks.
2001
Yeah.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I know you don't dislike anything, but
I think it's
I'll let you know
okay.
that movie
I was-
sucks.
I think it's okay. You know what? Because I'm also
It's okay.
I'm biased to Tim
A little
Burton.
skeptical.
It looks kind of crazy.
Real skeptical
He
of
had
that.
his spin on it, so it's just it's like it's just a warped
fair.
version of it. It's totally warped.
Yeah.
But it was its own thing. I mean, that's why it didn't keep going. It was a one and done. I
Yeah.
don't think it did very well at the box office. I think a lot of fans were like,
I went to see it when it was over. I was just like,
"Huh?
You saw
what
it.
did I just watch?
You saw it though.
Crazy
I
new
did
ending. The crazy new
Yeah, it
ending.
was crazy.
Crazy. Let's take the big
Nice
twist and
twist.
make it a
But
bigger
it didn't
twist."
save the mess that happened before it.
Correct.
I've now come to a place where I'm able to see, okay, clearly we're in reboot culture. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
But I'm now at a place where it's like, all right, this isn't going to take away the feelings I have of the original thing. It's not going to be something that tarnishes it for
The
me.
ruined childhood people.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, enough. Just don't go. Just don't go. Just don't go.
This ruined my childhood.
Can I pick-
No, it didn't.
I'll pick my most recent example. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my favorite television show. They just did this Audible series with like most of the cast, and they kind of made it work with like around a bunch of people who aren't there, which is a little bit weird. And I don't need to go into details about it. But essentially, the fandom has told me, don't do it. And I probably won't. But even if I do, it's not like it's going to take away anything I feel about the original series. It's not like you took it off of the TV and I can't watch it now.
Right.
You know, I've moved past it being like, what have you done to my favorite IP? Why? And I don't care. It's fine.
All
Yeah.
the old stuff still exists.
It does.
Exactly
You
how
can
it
go
was.
back and
Right.
rewatch it as much as you
You
want.
hear
It's
that
not going
Clone
anywhere.
High season 2?
I liked it.
I didn't watch it so.
I'll tell you, as
I'm an
someone
original movie guy.
as someone who knows, I know.
That's
I
right.
love it. I liked it. Accepting that it wasn't all the same thing.
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
still very funny and still very entertaining.
The three of us are deep in like different pop cultures, and so is Dustin. Chuck and Pete, not really. They don't watch things. Neither of them watch
It
things.
depends
They-
on what, though.
But they don't really do TV or movies. It's just not a thing that they do.
I mean-
they don't spend their time that way.
Chuck's no, he does not. But
You know
Chuck's
what I
been
mean?
quoting The Office since we got here.
That's right.
I'm not going.
Yeah, we got a lot of that.
I'm not
That might
going
be a
into
bit.
it. I'm not
We
going
have no
into it.
problem with that. We're all for Office.
He
Yeah,
hates
it's
it.
fine.
I love it.
He's
He hates
really
it.
good at bits.
He hates it.
So
That's fine.
I was
I
saying I
prefer
wasn't.
TV.
Gonna, I was saying I wasn't going to go.
I
into
prefer the
this.
British version.
personally.
Do you?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I really do. I'm sorry.
Creed's my guy.
I was gonna say that's
sorry.
usually what people
Huh?
say, bro.
This is really devolved.
No, yeah, sorry. So anyway, the song 198 Broadway is about all of that.
Right.
All of the things.
Everything I just talked about.
Yes.
It's
a fun song.
It's a fun song. I reprised the chorus from the beginning, so we could tie in our dark ending to our dark beginning to our happy ending. Because the mission statement of that first chorus remains the same in the end, but now we're singing it and it sounds completely different. Whereas it's a very dark delivery in the beginning of the record. Now it's a happier
Comes back.
presentation of the same thing.
And then it includes the community within the ending of the song, which is what Henry wanted to make happen. We all did.
Well, my vision
We
was
want
to
the
have us
people
all
to be a
singing,
part of it.
singing together.
With us, not in front of us, with us. Now we're all moving forward together as if all the people are now on the stage with us singing outwardly and moving forward.
It's pretty
Together.
dope.
It's a favorite.
And whenever we play it, we've been closing with it because it's just an amazing way to end. Everybody, you can't not know the words when there aren't any. It's just woes,
And
which
who,
is also
who doesn't love a sing along?
the old punk way. You know what I mean? Like,
That's it.
That is the woe.
That was Brohim, particularly.
Right. There you
Exactly.
go.
Same idea.
Fun fact.
Same idea.
Because everybody loves those. Why wouldn't
Right.
you?
Exactly. Speaking of the nerd stuff, we did have a comment from a guy, Tyler, earlier. He said, I had the Last of Us tee that you
a
guys
great one.
did.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Great one.
Absolutely love it. Hope to see you guys in Central PA soon.
They've been asking
We're close.
a few times.
Oh, State College?
It gets so
Dude,
gets so diluted to like, where do you meet? Where do you specifically
Central
want
PA
us to
mean?
go to?
Right.
We're in
yeah.
Pittsburgh
Where
tomorrow.
specifically?
For some that could mean Harrisburg. For some people that could mean State College.
Right.
For some people that could mean
Altoona.
Altoona.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Which
It could
place?
mean Lewisburg. It could mean Bloomsburg. It could mean.
We've just played so many.
Williamsport State.
Williamsport.
We like,
That's Central.
where have we played?
Jersey Shore.
That's
King of
that's the
Prussia.
heart of Central PA.
Yeah.
PA wise, like
At every corner.
we've played so many.
So many.
Yeah.
Mechanicsburg,
Yep.
This state is massive.
What's the one with the P?
It's so big. Pottsville.
Pottsville.
Not Pottstown. Pottsville.
Different pla-
Home
oh,
of
that's
Yingling.
small.
Home of
Vastly
Yingling.
different.
America's biggest craft brewery.
Last of Us was great. That was one I think that almost the whole
Knock it
band
off.
ended up watching.
Huh?
Last of Us was one that I think almost the whole band did end up watching.
Yes.
That was a unanimous,
game.
like, I never played
Yeah.
the game, but it made me excited.
Best game ever.
But I let people spoil the game for me. I just tell me what happens. So,
It's the exact same as the show.
right.
Nothing.
Well, I asked for what comes next because I didn't want to wait. I just asked. I think Dustin told me.
A love letter to the game too. Like taking a game IP and making it a show is always risky in my opinion.
They did a great
But like
job.
just doing it in a way
They
that
had the
was
budget.
doing it in a way that was cinematic and also, connects the two. It's really, really great.
And those actors, like
Oh,
two lead
stop.
actors, they
Come on.
really got
Unbelievable.
good
Pablo,
stuff.
bro.
Come on.
Great stuff.
Again, budget.
Right.
Unbelievable.
It's not always the answer though.
And also,
That Lord of the Rings show.
when we did the shirt, it was when everybody was watching it. Also, I disagree with you. I love the show. I love the
I thought it
show.
was excellent.
I love the score. I bought the soundtrack. I think Mondo did it. I bought it as like a 3 LP. I was like, this is so good. I love that I'm getting more because as a fantasy head, I never get anything high budget. It's always low budget or zero. Nothing or low budget.
Right.
To take a high budget, it's like whatever it is, I'll take it. I don't care. I want it. So maybe I'm biased. I have a lot of friends who
Is it
love
coming
Lord of the
back?
Rings tell me it's coming back. Oh yeah, Amazon,
Because
come on.
it's excellent.
Jeff's not going to do a one and done.
That's right.
Our boy Jeff ain't doing a one and done.
Oh, Big Jeff?
He ain't doing a one and done.
Big Jeff.
He's not going to let people go, ha ha, we told you.
He might crowdfund the next season.
Right.
Hard times for Big Jeff.
Right.
All right. So, is there anything else you guys want to mention before we get out of here?
No other comments?
Not that I see that are
Just Tyler.
worthwhile.
Tyler.
Central PA Tyler.
What's a bad one?
We
You better
appreciate
go play
it.
for them.
Did anybody say anything horrible?
No,
Maybe,
I wish
maybe with a
Just
rate.
me.
Maybe
no,
with,
just
a, with,
this guy.
a, with a racial. Maybe are you Tyler from Central PA?
No.
Nothing with like a racial epithet in there or something.
No, thankfully, it's funny. Like a couple of weeks ago, we had a guest who is part of the LGBTQ community, and Facebook, in their infinite wisdom, have been like showing our page to people who have nothing to do with northeastern Pennsylvania, nothing to do with Pennsylvania, just people from across the country. Because our social media, we've pared down to like people who get what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
We've been doing NEPA Scene will be 10 years old next year.
Yeah.
And so, we have an audience who understands what we're doing and why we're doing it and how diverse the scene is and how we include everybody in what we
Yeah,
do.
of course.
And so we don't usually get stuff like that. And every once in a blue moon, if we do, they're blocked. I don't fucking want your patronage. I don't want your traffic. I don't want your click.
He skipped that there
your
was
bullshit.
Oh, hate.
No, I inferred. I inferred.
On this
I inferred.
particular post, we had all this stuff, but they were all from people out of the fucking area for the most part. But
Right.
then when some of the locals saw that, who normally wouldn't have commented because they know they're not welcome to say that kind of shit, they see that and they get encouraged.
Of course.
It's much like
Yeah,
a
they
political
jumped right
sort of
on
thing
the
where,
bandwagon.
That's how it goes.
that guy said it, so
Right.
now I can say
course.
it.
Well, this
that
is
kind of fucking
this is the
shit.
problem, right?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, by having somebody on who morons on Facebook would view as controversial that want to engage with it even in a negative way, it made your positive viewers engage with it also. So
Exactly.
probably drove the post.
Well, and that's
And
what
it's
I
just this is why people play into that so much.
I
And it's
told
really
people-
unfortunate that
it
we're
is
like, encouraged to
unfortunate.
do that.
Because I don't like to play that game. I'm not all about that. I'd
Neither
rather
do I.
get no traffic or very little traffic than deal in the clickbait bullshit type of let's use certain buzzwords to get those people
course.
to say those things. I'm just not all about that.
I'm not
kind of
either.
shit. And then when we actually did the podcast, not one of those people tuned in. Not one of those people commented.
Right.
None of those people actually stood for anything, the things that they think they're standing up for or they
Yep.
think is, they're
They
trying to
got,
protect.
they got their comments off because
Yeah,
they
exactly.
wanted to,
That's all- they got their
be
little
virtuous. That's what it is. But
We see that all the time.
we see that a lot. But peace be the journey to both of them. That's
Right.
what it is.
Let's talk about something happy now. Do you guys like ABBA?
Seriously?
The artist?
No, for real.
I mean, it comes, but
No,
yes,
hold
yes.
up. Now, hang on. He's not here. But our drummer is big into dance pop, so he unironically loves ABBA, and he should because they've really like all of the Swedish artists did so much to shape what pop music has become. So it's super duper important. You didn't expect a real answer out of me. Nice try.
His number,
Mike,
his
we
number
love
one.
him.
I just wanted to quote Philomena Kunk.
What?
I have something to
very
teach
fun.
them now.
We
I
must-
have to wrap this up so
My-
I can
my-
teach them.
My grandfather, I have to say it every time ABBA comes up in conversation. My grandfather was he was a manly man type, with meat and potatoes, always worked with his hands.
But every morning,
that type of guy.
Gimme your love
Fucking
after
loved
midnight.
ABBA. Fucking loved ABBA. Unapologetically had
Yeah,
all
dude.
their loved fucking ABBA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. he was
That's
so
awesome.
All right, so you guys are playing tonight. at
Clarky's Billiards.
the second annual Happy Holidays.
We still have
Music
3
Festival.
hours till we play. Do you want to
Our group chat says the following.
Oh,
Well,
God.
we got to go eat and maybe get a couple of drinks.
Set
in,
times?
stuff
Question
like that.
mark. This band has been playing for like an hour. Then another member of the band. They are closing with a cover, and the ska people are hyped. And a follow-up to that text. It turned into a ska cover of Where Eagles Dare for a minute. And then Rick has just commented, huh? So I'm
Eagles, yeah,
unsure
there's
what's
two
happening
songs,
over at
massive
Clarky's. But I can tell you that the other half of the band is just sitting there waiting for us to get back going.
I can tell you,
Our shift is over. Now you must come in and take over so we can go outside.
I'm sure what's happening at Clarky's is confusing,
But pretty
and I can
dope.
also tell you that at any other time during any other day, what's happening at Sharky's or Clarky's is confusing.
Sharky's.
Sharky's in
Bootin'.
That's
That was
a
place
better
in
name,
college,
actually.
Sharky's.
Sharky's, like the wing
Cool
spot.
Sharkies. Why isn't we got to go talk to whoever Clarky is and tell him.
Apparently, he's
Yeah,
a
change
big
the
he's a
name.
big time billiard player. He's like professional.
Clarky?
We got big Clarky. You know,
I don't know. I saw people coming with cue bags.
they're serious over there.
They were
My
legit.
sister and her boyfriend play in leagues over there.
All right, let's go see him. All right, Rich, let's
They're the type
Um,
of people that will
let's
be
take 'em
living
home,
in
Rich.
the
How should we take him home?
let's take him home.
Take them home.
Is the Instagram still going?
Yeah, it's up
Oh,
there.
wow. It goes this
Stop
long?
it.
This rolls right along.
It goes as long as it needs to.
I had no idea. We only ever go live on ours for like 5 minutes, and then
Yeah.
we just delete it.
Except that time I ate all those Taco Bell items.
Oh yeah, that was a good time.
Instagram's limit is 4 hours. I
Oh, it's 4 hours.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yeah.
That's long.
Yeah,
That's
it's
two
really
movies.
fucking long.
How long do you guys think we've been going?
Hey,
Without looking.
I'll say
Without
nothing.
looking, how
I'll
long-
say nothing.
How long have we been going?
2
45
hours.
minutes.
Hour and 45.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I actually,
And well
with looking,
segmented.
I thought it was still only an hour. With looking.
My sense
That
of
shows
time
you
is
where I
horrible.
thought I was today.
I don't know when we started, so I couldn't have
I
done
thought we started at
Hour and
5:30.
45.
that.
The sun was out earlier.
You can see the sun from here?
No.
This guy rocks, bro.
We are underground.
All right, let's take him home. Northeastern PA, we love you. We're Keep Flying. We'll be around. If you're watching this live, come to what's it? Clarky's, Stokey's.
Stogies Billiards. If you're
Stogies.
watching this live and you can want to make it out.
Come through. Hello? Yeah, we're playing Stokey's. No,
Ray.
Clarky's. Ray. Hey, Ray. Hey, Ray. Do you fuck with the Jerky Boys? You don't even know what that
You
is.
love the Jerky Boys?
You telling me I don't know Frank Rizzo? I
Oh! Do we have a story for you off air?
All right,
Folks,
we're
we keep
gonna
flying.
end stream now.
We love you.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Are we off the stream?